This is Times Drive and I'm Joel Pereira, and behind me is a whole mass of cars, a regular enough occurrence in any big city. Now the thing is that you can hear and see the cars, but what you can't smell is the amount of air pollution that I'm told is not especially good for the environment. Now the thing is that electric cars have been a reality for quite some time now, but the question is, are they really practical? Here's Kailash Menon finding out for you with the Mahindra e2o.
This is the Mahindra e2o. It's a car with a green conscience. It's all electric. It's got zero tailpipe emissions. So driving this around will not drill holes in the ozone layer, kill polar bears or wipe out walruses. It really is the mobility of the future, no debate about that. The question is, does the Mahindra e2o make sense in the present? Is it practical enough to replace your petrol or diesel hatch? Well, let's find out. It doesn't run on petrol or diesel. Power comes from a 15 ampere plug point. The e2o is propelled by an electric motor and a slab of lithium-ion batteries. Now there's no ignition slot up here, so to start it up you gotta hit the start-stop button, then authenticate your key and it's on. And since there's no engine in here, it's eerily quiet. I mean, there's no startup jiggle, no vibes creep into the cabin. So, I mean, it's a bit cold clinical and dare I say, borderline creepy. And there's no clutch or gear either. It's fully automatic. Jab the starter, punch the pedal and off you go. Now the Reva puts out 25 bhp and 53 Newton meters of torque. I know what you're thinking, it doesn't sound like much. But here's the thing, with electric vehicles you don't have to coax them to a particular RPM to extract all the torque that they have to offer. So here you get all that 53 Newton meters at your beck and call the moment you place your foot on the pedal. On a full charge of 5 hours, it will cover 100 kilometers. But then again, it totally depends on your driving style. If you go too hard, you will bleed the battery much before the expected range. Now when I started out in the morning, it was fully charged and distance to empty was 100 kilometers. Right now, the distance to empty is 58 kilometers. So that means I've clocked 42 kilometers, basically loitering around in the city. And since I don't have a clear agenda for the day, I am just going to put that 100 kilometer range claim to the test. Drive around till sundown or till I bleed the battery dead, whichever is faster. Now unlike a normal car, the body of the Reva is not wrapped up in sheet metal. In fact, it's all plastic, but not the cheap sorts. This plastic is shock-proof, scratch-proof and dent-proof too. But the insides are more car-like. It gets better plastics, infotainment system, Bluetooth, USB, navigation, the works. Well, it takes time getting used to the petite proportions, but compared to the previous gen Reva, this feels a whole lot more proper. I mean, 4 wheels, 4 seats and the steering, yes, it does feel like a car. Does it sound like one? Not really. It's very silent. I mean, it's got a very partial wheezing sound going on. I mean, it's so silent that you could conduct a stealth mission in it. But it's got a clinical feel to it. I mean, it's a bit like an appliance. I mean, like a hairdryer on wheels. The dinky dimensions makes it a breeze in the rush hour. It's fully automatic, so no clutch or gears to fiddle with. Perfect for bumper-to-bumper crawl. Minor gripes, it gets no power steering, which doesn't pinch you much while you're on the move because there is no engine in the bonnet. But while parallel parking, things do get a bit uncomfortable. Also, the brakes, they're a bit too sticky. I mean, dab them lightly and they clamp down in a furious fashion. Now honestly, the boot of the e2o is pretty useless. All it can accommodate is your travel pillow and your laptop at the most. So if you've got light luggage like this, you will have to flip the seats forward and throw it in. So here's the deal, you can't travel with those jumbo suitcases. The answer to your question, if you buy the e2o, travel light or else take a cab. Pull a lever, push the seat forward and you're in. Now once inside, there is ample room for an average size adult. However, if you're a tall chap, you're better off in the front row. Now getting in is the easy part. The challenge really is to get out with all your dignity intact. Yup, the real cool one is the smartphone feature. It's a genie in a bottle, quite literally. Now the real cool feature is the smartphone app, which via satellite lets you control your E2o sitting anywhere in the world. For example, if you want to switch the AC on much before you enter the car, you could do it via this. You could even monitor the charge status of your car. And the best bit, if you're stranded on the road, you could hit the revive function, which gets you 10 kilometers of grace range. At 6,75,000 on-road Delhi, it's got a lofty price tag. And after clocking a wholesome 90 kilometers throughout the day, here's the conclusion. The E2o is strictly a city car. Secondly, you need to retain it for at least 5 years to reap the benefits of extra money spent on acquiring it. So here's the deal. If you're buying the E2o as your primary car, I would advise you to wait till the infrastructure gets better with more charging points, generous government shops for electric vehicles. But if you're well-heeled and you're looking for a second car for your city chores, I highly recommend the Mahindra e2o.